Our next speaker, Professor Eddie Obeng, will address the rapidly changing environments of this business, society, culture, and he'll offer insight into the most effective ways to adapt. He created the New World Management concept and is the author of 9 books, all of which focus on business strategy and adapting to change. Please welcome Professor Eddie Obeng.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much indeed. I can't tell you how delighted I am to be here. It's really exciting for me because as a world-class motivational speaker, I travel around the world and I have a privilege of speaking to lots of groups. But often when I'm speaking to groups, they're people who've been sent by their companies. You understand? They don't have to qualify to be there. So this is really special for me. And I don't think I should get the applause as I come on. I think actually we should do something slightly different. What we should do is look at your colleagues and just think about the dedication and the effort they've put in to really support their clients and be here. So just look across, look at them. Don't you think you should applaud them? There you go. Brilliant. Well done. I have 3 things I want to share with you, and then a big ask. So that's my plan for the session. And I want to start by just explaining where I think my ideas might come in useful to you by telling you a very short personal story about myself. One of the biggest breakthroughs in my career was when I became an executive director of a business school. I was the youngest executive director of any business school in Europe. I was really happy about it. All my colleagues seemed happy about it. And then 2 weeks after I got this role, I walked into the staff common room. Staff common room where all the academics are sitting. Okay, and they're all talking to each other, you know, hub, 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 hub. But as I walked in, the noise level came down. I'm trained in this stuff. I know what it means. It means somebody important is coming into the room. So I looked over my shoulder to see who it was. And there was nobody there. It was me. And this had a profound effect on me. I thought, oh my goodness, I'm Eddie, you know, cool, laid-back guy. But now I'm important. I should behave more sort of director-like. People expect things of me. And so for the next 3 months, the weirdest thing happened. In the morning, I would go into the classroom. I was teaching change and innovation. I'd say to people, if you want your teams to be able to apply what you do, involve them, engage them, make sure they know you're there as their support. And then in the afternoon, I'd go into the board meetings and go, right, who's supposed to be delivering this? If you can't do it, bring me somebody who can. And then I'd go back to the classroom and I'd say, and ensure people understand that their ideas are valued. And then in the afternoon, I'd go in and say, right, who's got these silly, we've got to stick to the plan. Can anyone see a difference between the two? Yeah? Or did I not act out well enough? Okay, there's a big difference. Why was I 2 people? What was going on in my head? No, it wasn't in my head, it was my heart. You see, what happens sometimes is when things go really well, some of us, what happens is we can't believe our luck, we slightly choke, and that's what had happened to me. I got a bit scared. When you get scared, you tend to disconnect from people and go into what we call output mode, trying to actually make sure everything is fine. But then there's another headache. Once you're scared it might not last. And people will tell you things like, the only thing you have to fear is fear itself. It's not true. It's not true. You can be scared of success as well. And you can be scared the success won't continue. Okay, confession time. Just look at the person sitting next to you and nod if it's true. Yes, some nods, I got it. Okay, great. So that's why I'm going to propose these 3 things. I want to try to do 3 very simple things. One is try and help you actually never worry about things going wrong. So always success, no fear of success, nothing. You know, like super confident moving forward, number 1. Number 2, I want to set the context of what's happening in the world and help you think about how you grow your businesses, how you grow your client engagements as the world accelerates. And number 3, I want to make absolutely certain, really absolutely certain that when you go back, all your colleagues just bind with all your new ideas. Because have you heard of things like resistance to change? Has it ever happened to you propose something and people have gone, well, I'm not sure about that? Does that happen to you? That's gone. I'm going to show you a mind trick which solves that. So that's my 3 things. Now, my task for you, you have 10 seconds. Chat with the person next to you. If you like those 3 things, we're going to do them. If you don't, you're all going to stand up and shout no, and we'll do something else. You've got 10 seconds. Just check and make sure those 3 are the right things. Are we in the right place? Are we together? Great. Yes. Okay, so basically what we have here is we have fear is gone. Okay, nothing to worry about. We have this wonderful whooshing growth with lots and lots of, I'll try and make them really happy customers. And at the same time, when you go back, all you have to do is, you won't even have to say anything. Just as you think about it, all your team will go, yay! Magic. Okay, let's go. So, I'm going to start with the second one because it's a bit easier to go there first. And the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to share with you one of my favorite diagrams. This is it. You won't recognize anything in this diagram, I'm quite certain of that. But where I want to start is, I want to start at the bit which says, over here it says I have a high workload. I don't know whether you can see that or not, which means I don't have time to plan or to do everything I want to. So I don't really know how much I've committed to and how much time I've spent. So when new opportunities come along, I say yes more than is realistic, which of course pushes my workload up, giving me less time to plan or to do stuff. So what happens is sometimes I come close to deadlines other people are worried about. And because they're keen to meet their goals, guess what? They interrupt me. So I spend a lot of my time restarting half-done jobs, which of course then pushes my workload up, giving me less time to plan or to do anything. So now I'm a bit disorganized and people can send me text messages even in the middle of MDRT and get away with it. Have you seen this happening to your colleagues at work? Is that yes? Yes, okay. How could I know your lives before I met you? What's going on? Have I got some secret machine which has been following you around? No, I'll tell you what it is. Quite simply, what's happened is all of us are in exactly the same boat together. And the boat looks like this. It's a boat where basically the world is accelerating quite happily around us. If I was to draw it, this is how I probably, if I was to draw it, this is probably how I'd go for it. This is now, that's the past. Let's take 20 years in the middle here, okay? What's happened to the pace of change? What do you think now compared to 20 years ago? Are they the same? Which one's higher? Now, okay, great. This is the past. How have the 2 points joined? Is it a straight line? No, it accelerates upwards. Why? Because there are more people, they're more connected. We're all using devices. Do you understand? At the same time, how fast are you learning and changing? Slowly. Thank you. I like that person over there. A bit of honesty. So once upon a time, we could put together a plan. We could see maybe the next 6 months. But because we're learning and changing quite slowly, the 2 points cross over. This is what I call midnight. It's an idea from a joke which I used in one of my TED Talks. It's actually quite good. Check it out. Just Google Eddie Obeng and TED. But the idea behind this is the world really moves differently. Over here, because you can learn fast and the world is changing, you can guess what your clients want. You really don't need to put them at the center. I don't know, has anyone got gray hair like me and remembers the days when we used to have a product package and we go out and sell it? Okay. Unfortunately, the environment we're in, not only do you not know what they want, they don't know either. So what does that mean you do? I don't know. Does that mean you just sit around waiting? No, we've got to find a different way of connecting with them. So my first trick, one of the ways you find out what the world's going to do to you is you listen to all your clients. And you'll find that there's a sort of a group of them. And in the middle, there are all the normal ones. And then there are some who like you lots, and others who are a bit weird. They ask you to do things which you've never been asked to do before, and you probably can't. Do you have any of those? Those are gold dust. Do you know why? Because generally what they're asking you to do today is exactly what everyone wants in 6 months' time or 2 years' time. They're like time travelers telling you what's coming next. You don't really need to forecast, you just need to listen to them. That's the first trick. That will help you get some more stability. The second thing to do is look at the environment around you. I mean, some of you are in this position where one-to-one engagements are helping your business grow, you're building the conversations, but as you've been here, you've been talking to some of your colleagues, and you found that they talk about things like disintermediation and regulation, yes? And all these things, opportunities with big data and funny things like that. All those things are coming in. I had a story the other day which made me stressed, okay? Imagine you're in car insurance, okay? I know it's really hard to imagine it, but just imagine you were. One of the stories I heard was Volvo are going to make a car which is so smart that it'll be able to see every other car and it won't have an accident. You remember before I told you, imagine you're in car insurance. So when the car no longer has an accident, hello? And it's not just that. Everybody's trying to drop in. They think they can use their data themselves. Even some of your potential clients think they can work it all out for themselves. That means we have to rethink. So we know what the new customers are going to ask us for. We found a trick for doing that. But what's the trick we use for actually engaging people and moving through this technology nightmare? And the secret is you change the way your diary looks. When I look at most people's diaries, they look a bit like this. I don't know about yours, but this is my sort of typical diary. And in the diary, there are lines like that. And then on every line, it says sell, sell, sell. And then the other page says sell, sell. Not your diaries. Have I got the wrong diaries? Yeah, that doesn't work anymore. What you have to do is you have to make some spaces in there. To look forward, to look out, it means a different balance. And one of the things which I wanted you to get from that diagram with the big swirling circles is you really need to look at the things which you're currently doing again. Just because you like doing them doesn't mean you can't stop doing them and perform just as well. So just for me, have a think about that. How do I organize? How do I write my emails? Where do I do things? Find microseconds and add them all together. So that's the world around us. 2 tricks. People will tell you the future, and at the same time, you will make space to look outside. So as long as you've got X-ray vision and big ears, you're fine. Should I go to the next one? The next one. How do you get past fear? How do you get past fear? Well, there's a secret. You see, the same curves which we had have done something else funny to us. Let me just check the age profile here. I'm sorry, but I think you're all oldies. No, my definition of an oldie is anyone who's older than Google. Is there anyone here younger than Google? No? Okay, it's you. Okay, oldies. Now, the bad thing about being an oldie, and I'll write it here just so you can see it says oldies, okay? Oops. The bad thing about being an oldie is that if you're really, I'll write it even bigger, big lighting, oldies, okay? Okay? Is that if you are in the world where you can learn faster and the world is changing, you would have grown up being told they're correct answers, and if you do the right things, you come out with a good outcome. And you'd have believed that. And so what that means is, when you're doing stuff, you're worried you'll get it wrong, because you know failure is bad. Absolutely. But unfortunately, we no longer live in a world which is a world where we can learn faster than the world changes. We live on the other side, where things can happily change and we don't understand them. What that means is that a certain percentage of the things you're doing won't make any sense to you until much later. You will be slightly perplexed. That's good. But you can fail in that world, and you'll think it's a bad thing. Well, I don't want to fail. But there are 2 ways you can fail. In the old world, doing stuff and getting it wrong was failure. In the new world, if you do stuff and you don't do it properly, obviously you fail. I call that dumb failure. But there's another way of failing, which is you try everything out, you talk to your clients, you think about it, you work it all through, and still it ends up as a disaster. This is what we call smart failure. Do you understand the difference? And this is the one we're after, because this is what's going to guarantee you to the future. Now you're going, why would I want that? No, I don't actually want smart failure. I want smart success. So how do we get there? There's a trick to that as well. Fast-changing world, very simple trick. Has everyone here seen at least one film with extraterrestrials? You know, science fiction things? Have you seen them? They're all the same. They involve these extraterrestrials, and they travel for millions of light years to come down to Earth with one purpose, which is to eat you. That's their job. Okay? So I want you to imagine an alien spacecraft has crash landed just there, and all the extraterrestrials obviously are in the spacecraft. And imagine I'm walking towards it. What advice would you give me? Run, which way? Not that way, this way, because they've traveled to come and eat me. What do they do in the films? They run towards the danger, and you shout out, don't go, because with no training at all, you realize that this is really dangerous. In other words, up front you go, this is going to end in tears. You identify what the danger is going to be. Am I right? So I'll try and make that little sort of danger sign, okay? If you'd not told me, I'd have gone. In the films, it's the same. Somebody always goes to the spacecraft. Of course, aliens have no manners. They're extraterrestrials. They don't know anything. So they don't come to the door to greet you and say, hello, an alien. No, they hide. So you have to wander around going, hello, aliens. Where are you, aliens? I can't find you. Until what happens? The music starts. At which point, instantly, there's an alien. Have you seen these things? Alien like that, okay? What do you do? Okay, you can't run faster than them. They've got 24 legs. You've only got 2. So what's going to happen? You're going to have to deal with this alien. Sorry, alien, but unfortunately, we're going to have to terminate you, okay? So, they never do that in the films. One of them, they arrive at the spacecraft, there are 3 of them, they say the magic words which are let's split up. One of them meets the alien, but they never blast the alien, even though they've got laser blasters. What do? They phone their friends and say, there's something interesting, and then they get eaten. And their friends say, where are you? We've lost communication. Have you seen these films? And they come running. When they arrive, there's no sign of their friend, just an alien with a huge stomach. But they don't shoot the alien. They take it back to the laboratory and lock it up in the kitchen. And of course, it's sleeping because it's not doing anything. So what happens next? Somebody has to keep an eye on it. Who do they select to keep an eye on it? Is it like the smart cadet who's going to do a great job? No, it's always the lazy chap who doesn't do anything, or the mad scientist. He goes in, the alien wakes up, grabs him by the throat, kills him, and escapes through the slidey doors. Always the same. So finally, you have to blow up the whole space station, which is what we call Plan B. Now, this 5-stage process is how you eliminate fear from your life. Basically, today's solutions happened yesterday. A habit to get into is looking for those extraterrestrials and all your team doing that and solving it before it happens. So that's the second one. Get rid of the extraterrestrials. Number 3. Am I going at the right pace? Okay. Number 3. How do you do a mind trick so that everybody buys into what you're saying? Actually, it's quite simple. I'll explain. There's a problem with human beings. Has this ever happened to you? You go home one day and your other half has rearranged the room or thrown out some of your clothes or something like that, or scratched the car. Have you had that experience before? And of course you deal with this completely rationally and logically, don't you? Nah. You go, and you become a strange beast. How does that happen? Well, the reason that happens is because as a human being, we've basically been designed to react to surprises a specific way. You're out hunting and gathering millions of years ago. After the bushes jumps a tiger, the one thing you don't do is react rationally. In fact, what happens is your big modern brain like that gets switched off by a little clock down here, little bit here, which is left over from the crocodile brain. You with me? It says no more logical thinking. It makes you immediately really scared or really angry, and it fills you with adrenaline. There's nothing you can do about it. We're all programmed that way. Do you understand? So all the beautiful ideas you've got here, you take them back to your teams, and you say, hey guys, I got some great things. MDRT, the members are great. I've understood how we're going to grow the business. And you start to tell your teams, and they fold their arms, that foldy arm thing. Have you had that one? That's not how to do it. Have you noticed how many questions I've used in this presentation? Have you noticed the proportion of questions I've used? Have you noticed any pattern to the proportion of questions I've used? That was 5 questions in a row, by the way. Why am I using questions? Because if you use questions, it allows you to jump over the crocodile brain. You see, what happens with a question is it triggers your brain to start thinking, the modern logical bit. And as your brain builds an idea, by the way, have you noticed how brilliant all your own ideas are? Really? Of course not. They're rubbish like everyone else's. But what happens is you always fall in love with your own ideas. So when you think of it, you fall in love with it. When you fall in love with it, guess what you want to make it happen? Do you understand the process and why I'm asking you so many questions? And now you have a pattern to it. I bring up an issue. Has this happened to you? And you nod. Then I give you a little bit of a data, something to illustrate it. Folding your arms. And you go, yes, I recognize that. Okay? And then I ask a question. Why does that happen? Who does it? And I almost could shut up. You'll answer it in your own head, and you'll go away thinking, I thought all that up myself. And that is the third ninja trick. You use your questions in that structure. And if you use that, you'll find that people fall in love with, really want to make things happen. So those are the 3 things I promised you. If you pick up that ability to see the future by being able to use the people at the edges of your organization to tell you the future, by looking out and not just looking in, life gets better in a complex world. If you build that ability to eliminate the extraterrestrials in advance, you don't worry about failure, you know that you're going to make it. And finally, if you use that mind trick I was sharing with you, you'll find that people come along and they'll think it's their idea. And that's probably quite sad, because you'll think, I wish they knew it was my idea, but actually it doesn't matter. So, now those are the 3 bits, and if I've done a good job, you got them. So did I do a good job on, what was the first one? No more fear. Did I do a good job on that? Okay, are you going to do it? Okay, we'll check in a second. Did I do a great job on trying to make sure that you understood the world around you and how to make it more stable for you? Yes? Great, okay. And finally, you can get your ideas across. So my little ask for you is really simple. What I'd like you to do now is just 10 seconds, turning to the person next to you and just chatting quickly about this crazy guy and his mad ideas with aliens. Just 10 seconds. What does it mean to me? Just 10 seconds, not long. Just go, just each other. Okay, that's your time up. On me, on me. Okay, and so I just have one last piece to ask you. So what I'm hoping you can do is when you go back and you start putting these ideas into practice, please let me know. You know who I am. This has been MDRT 2016. Thank you very much. Thanks.